This is James Holder for iFL TV. I'm in Leeds today, head of the North Power show. With me, I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. How are we doing, Ed?
Doing very well, mate. Doing very well.
Good.
Good to see you on board.
Do you know what? It's been
a lot of similarities to your partner Quigg. One, you were asleep within 3 minutes of getting in the motor this morning.
Can't argue
and
that.
Number two, you had a cheeseburger at Peterborough Services, which is all the things that your colleague does.
Did that take you back a little bit to reminiscing?
Yeah, and we did a little Snapchat with him, didn't we? We had a little bit of fun while he's sort of roaming around Vegas trying to hit on Michelle Phelps. We all know that's going nowhere, but you know, it's another story.
Indeed. Talk to me first of all about the Leeds show.
Well, it's a cracking show, you know. I mean, I've been looking for an excuse to come to this arena for a while. I thought Josh Warrington would be the person to do it, but I didn't expect him to do it so quickly. And I think let's just talk about Josh Warrington for a second here.
Indeed.
This is a guy who will fight Martin Lindsay for the Commonwealth and hopefully maybe the British title as well. But before that he fought Rendell Monroe, and before that he fought Samir Mamoun, the only person to beat Lee Selby. He's taking top level fights now. And you know, when you ask a fighter about having a fight and you tell him the opponent, it's so refreshing to go, yep. You know what I mean? The first fight I tried to make was about a couple of weeks ago, was Ryan Walsh. He said he wasn't ready for the fight. But again, Josh, I'll have him, I'll fight him. You know, Lindsay's a top level fighter, and Warrington's good to watch, and I think he's got massive support here in Leeds. And you know, we're looking to go to a number of places around the country now. You know, we've got our places that we love to go to, you know, Cardiff, Glasgow, Hull, Liverpool, but we want to go to new places, and Leeds is one of them, Birmingham's another, Newcastle's another, down south somewhere is another. So we need fighters that can be flag bearers for these cities, and Josh is the perfect guy to do it. Stephen Smith, just in a massive fight against Fernando Saucedo. He's 4 in the WBC, Stephen's 10, it's a world title eliminator. See you later, boys, good man, see you soon. And that's for the silver title and a world title eliminator. Massive fight for Swifty, puts him in a great position to win a world title. Yorkshire Derby, Gavin McDonnell against Josh Wales, British Super Bantamweight title. Tommy Coyle back in action, and just announced today Carrier Fire will fight for the Commonwealth title. Great news for him. You know, time to start cracking on with titles. And his brother Gamal, we just announced a signing of him. He'll debut on the show as well. So it's a packed card. Wednesday night, which is a little bit different. This is actually a prize fighter date that we.
Was it firstly meant to be a prize?
It was, and we converted it into a Saturday night fight night, even though it's on a Wednesday, because we've got too many fighters. So it's good news for the hardcores who don't like prize fighter. But you know, we've got big plans at the moment because we're expanding the team every day, and we want to keep expanding. So, got some interesting news coming in terms of a new platform for additional shows that we're working on.
Okay. Does you coming to Leeds and Matchroom coming to Leeds really hang on Josh Warrington winning? Is it that the case?
Yeah, like I said, you need a flag bearer, you know, and without Josh, I doubt I would have come to Leeds for this show. So I think he needs to keep winning. And again, Martin Lindsay's a quality fighter. I mean, it's a really tough fight. But you know, get this win, and then you know, move on. Probably end up fighting Ryan Walsh at some point. I think he'll become the mandatory for the British. And you know, he's got a great opportunity. I think he's going to be in Selby's tracks. Selby, I believe, will have a world title fight this year. Hopefully, he can win the British. Josh Warrington win Selby's European. And then you never know. Maybe in 2015, a pair of them can fight for the world title.
Tommy Coyle come through a fantastic night's work against Brazuela in Hull. Is there any word on the opponent?
No, we're going to be looking to announce that in the next couple of days. Obviously had a really tough fight against Brazuela, and I'm also looking to get him out one more time in the summer. So looking to keep him active here in Leeds, and ready really for a big domestic fight in the summer. You know, I think we saw with Crawler Murray, these big domestic, particularly lightweight bouts are just fascinating to watch, and Tommy's all action, so entertaining and improving all the time under Jamie Moore.
Is the Coyle Woodhouse fight a possibility? Not for this show, because obviously Limon's
I don't think so. I mean, Tommy's going to stay at lightweight for the time being. It's a fight we talked about between both camps for the summer, but I think ultimately Curtis needed the challenge of new titles to stay in the game. You know, and that's ultimately why he's going to fight Willie Limon on June the 27th, because he wants to add the Commonwealth title. Down the line, you never know. It's a funny old game, but I think in the short term, that's one that's going to slip by the net.
Martin J. Ward on the bill, as well as new signing Ricky Boylan. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Waldy was supposed to fight in Manchester. He picked up a bug, he had the flu, so he'll be out. and Ricky Boylan, just boxing him around the country, letting him learn, letting him box in big arenas, you know, and obviously he's a big ticket seller in London, but want to get him ready for those big fights. The light welterweight division at the moment, he's buzzing. You know, Limond against Woodhouse for the British and Commonwealth. You've got Chris Jenkins, you've got Darren Hamilton looking to get back in the mix. You've got Ricky Boylan, you know, Tyrone Nurse coming off a good win as well. Bradley Saunders, Tom Stalker, two good young fighters as well, probably ready for titles in 2015. So it's a division that, to be honest with you, was so boring, the light welterweight division. Now it's come alive.
Let's talk a little bit about Froch and Groves. The tickets, the next instalment of tickets go on sale tomorrow.
Correct.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the allocation and how many tickets the general public will be able to buy?
Sure. We originally sold 60,000. We've got a capacity limit, and people say, you know, just to clear something up, people say, oh, why is it that you're only having 80,000 when you could get 90,000 in? And the answer is because that is the capacity that was set by Wembley, by the council, by TFL. So we'll have 60,000 that were sold initially. There'll be a further, I think it's around 20,000 go on sale tomorrow at 12. Around half of those are available for ticket only, and the remainder are available only with coach packages. And the reason for that is because that is the decision made with TFL, saying we're happy to have another 20,000, but half have got to be ticket only and the rest have got to be coming on coaches. And the coaches come see tickets, do a coach service, they come from all over the country. So obviously we know that the 10,000 or whatever it is, first batch, ticket only, will go like that. And then the rest, I don't believe will go in on one day, because some people won't want to travel on a coach. But unfortunately, if you want to watch it, then you're going to have to. But again, these coach services are fantastic and they come from all over the country. So we're expecting 80,000 capacity.
Do you think in the future you could maybe look at some kind of loyalty scheme for all the people that buy tickets to, like for instance, for Leeds on a Wednesday night, that quite possibly couldn't get tickets for the biggest fight of the year in Froch vs Groves too? Yeah,
and that comes back to something that I talked about earlier on, is we're going to be developing a new loyalty scheme with Matchroom. I wasn't going to talk too much about it, but I will, because my friends at iFL, you know. But basically what that's going to involve is that's going to involve access to the pre-sale for tickets for all our shows. So whether that's here, whether that's Froch Groves, members of the Matchroom Club will be given first access to all those tickets. And we'll also be putting together a new platform, a Matchroom boxing TV platform, if you like, online, where we'll be working with a number of promoters to stage televised streamed shows to Matchroom Club members. And that'll include our shows that we'll be doing, a couple of non-televised shows with our stars on, but also some of the top promoters around the country, working with them to make sure their shows are televised, and members of our club will be given access to all those shows. So it's something I'm really, really excited about. Lets people watch more shows, and also, you know, gives us the opportunity to work with, let's say, smaller fighters, because it's a little bit disrespectful, but you know, fighters that potentially haven't got the pedigree to come out and box on the big shows. So, you know, away from the Joshuas and the Campbells and the Callum Smiths and these kind of guys, you know, fighters that I would like to sign. You know, fighters like Sam Eggington, fighters like Johnny Coyle. You know, these kind of people, I believe, can go a long way in the sport, but perhaps won't be given the opportunity to do it without a platform like this. So is that looking for the option to find the next Lee Selby, the next Josh Warrington, fighters that have come through the small arena route to them fighting on the small hall to fight? There are so many fighters. I mean, it's not just about fighting, it's about life, isn't it? Where someone's got a lot of ability, and probably football is the same. You go over a park and you see some kid who maybe hasn't been pushed the right directions into an academy or you know, whatever, but you know that this kid's got so much ability, given the opportunity, he could go on and make a name for himself. Well, it's the same in boxing, just like anything else. There are so many young fighters. I mean, you know, Carl Froch is a good example in that when Carl Froch turned pro, no one looked at him and said, you'll be a full-time champion of the world, pay-per-view fighter. They looked at him and thought, oh, maybe you could win the British title. And you know, and who knows, the likes of a Sam Eggington, who's like 20 years old, how far can he go? I don't know, but you know what, I'd like to find out. Because, very talented, you know, we've got all the high-end fighters right now in the country. So we've got that market cornered. Well, what about the other kids? You know, and you know, when you're dealing with a fighter who's an Olympian, they've got teams of people and they're very expensive, and then sometimes you get a breath of fresh air come in, like a Sam Eggington who goes, yeah, I'm fighting, who am I fighting? Yeah, Sam, you haven't even asked me how much you're getting. Oh, well, whatever you think. You know, and you know, when you talk about a game that, You know, and I always talk about, I want freshness, I want enthusiasm. You've got to keep that enthusiasm, and these are the kind of people that give you the enthusiasm for the sport. It can be very frustrating, boxing, politically, and all kinds of different things. So when you deal with someone that makes you smile, it makes you want to help, and it makes you want to be in the game for longer. So it's good for everyone, and those kind of fighters are a joy to work with. And now we're going to have this new platform. A lot more fighters are going to get the opportunity, and they can all funnel on to the big TV shows anyway.
Do you think you needed this new platform to keep yourself excited? And I mean, how'd you go from putting on a 90,000, 80,000 capacity show to then putting on a 3,000 or 4,000 capacity show? How do you keep yourself motivated as a promoter?
I think it's not just all about size. Sometimes it's the little things. And my missus always tells me that. That was a joke, Jane. But on a serious note, it's not just about how many people you can get in and how much money you can make. Listen, not a bullshit. Everyone's in it for money. It doesn't matter what you do, right? But the bottom line is you need things that make you smile. You need things that keep things fresh. So I want to develop young fighters, and if the one criticism we get sometimes, which really is only because we're new to the game, is that we haven't brought fighters through from scratch. Well, that's because we haven't been around long enough. But what you'll find now is, and this is where someone like Cal Yefai, him getting a title shot, but that makes me so happy because, like with Cal, I signed him from his first fight, and this is his first major title fight. So, and Gamal now got some freshness, I know he can punch so hard, and little things you just keep excited about. But I always say at Coogan, the moment that you lose your love, the moment you lose your drive, the moment you get up in the morning and go, I can't be arsed anymore, that's when your work's going to suffer, and that's when it might be time to leave whatever you do or get a new job. So I want to make sure I never feel like that. I don't think I will, because I love boxing so much, but you've got to, you can only sell something that you really believe in.
Froch, George Groves meant to be on ringside tomorrow. Can you confirm that's the case?
This is the case.
Any special means of transportation for Froch? I'm hearing
Froch,
all kinds of different rumours.
Yeah, Froch will be on a helicopter. It's so funny because you couldn't meet a geezer who is less diva, if you like, than Froch. And I said to him, listen, someone's offered me a helicopter to bring you down. Oh, I don't need a helicopter. What you need, it takes 50 minutes from Nottingham to Skye on a helicopter, or you're sitting in a car for 3 hours. No, but it's a bit over the top. So I said, Cole, you're a 4-time champion of the world, get in a fucking helicopter. So he will be travelling down in there tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's got to be careful because they're deep in camp now, and everyone's going to be a little bit ratty. And Carl's an old school guy. He deals with things differently to potentially others, and when someone's goading him or antagonising him, Froch, the way he's been brought up is you deal with it in another way, let's say less diplomatic. So I'll be in the middle of them and making sure things don't get out of hand. But we do have to, at the end of the day, they're role models as well, and they've got an obligation to respect the laws and the conduct of the game. So it's going to be compelling viewing.
What about Friday? I'm hearing there's some kind of social media stuff.
We're down at the Facebook headquarters doing great Q&As with Facebook team.
Can iFL TV gate crash that?
No.
Is there anything going on? How can you have social media?
I mean, to be honest with you, I know you guys are much bigger than Facebook, but I think we have to just let them get their moment of glory on this one.
Okay.
But we're building up now, and loads of stuff going on over the next few weeks, and 4 weeks to go on Saturday. I mean, it's nearly here.
Did the magnitude and the way the show sold out change the marketing plan for the show? Because at the start of the show, I thought we'd be going around kind of different towns and kind of hyping it up that way. But the hype of the show and the magnitude of the show, did it not warrant that kind of?
It does warrant it, and I don't believe in being complacent and greedy in that, oh, well, it's sold out now, job done.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in that. What I do believe in is what the first press conference showed me was these two can't be around each other too much. And I know that people like to see them around each other because it's compelling viewing, but it's not. You run the real risk of the show not happening because something will go off, and no one wants that. And George made a complaint to the board after the first incident.
That was after the
push. Yeah, he's made his complaints, and he had his reasons for that, and it was wrong. But unfortunately, like I said, when you're being goaded, some people react differently. But I can't guarantee that things wouldn't escalate in further meetings between them. And again, I can't guarantee that something won't escalate tomorrow. So we need to make sure that we control it. Two brilliant fighters fighting for 2 world titles. It doesn't need fake hype. It won't have fake hype, but it also doesn't need controversy like that to sell. And I worry that something like that could happen if these two come face to face more often than not.
Last word on new signing Nathan Cleverly, making his debut on cruiserweight. Talk to me a little bit about Nathan, and is he up for it?
Yeah, he's up for it, definitely. I mean, people asked about his ambition, his desire. He had a bad loss, and he had to come back from that, and he's training well, he's in great shape. He fights Sean Corbin, which, if he's going to be a decent cruiserweight, he needs to look good against. Corbin is, he's in great shape, he can punch a bit, and he's only ever really lost when he stepped up to the big levels, Murat and Masternak. But ultimately, if Nathan's going to be a contender at cruiserweight, he's got to deal with Corbin. Then he'll have one more, a step up from Corbin.
Do you think it's Bellew time?
It's Bellew time, November. We've already penciled November 29th at the Echo Arena. It's a fight that makes sense. It's the biggest fight for both of them financially.
First one was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the fight the public want to see. It's just another one of those big domestic fights we have to make to keep this sport buzzing.
That's what I really like about you, Eddie, your willingness to put some of your fighters against each other.
Do you know what? It's nothing to do with me, really. It's about, it's just about honesty and talking to the fighters and saying, look, this is the fight that makes you the most money. It's not rocket science, and this is the fight that people want to see. So therefore, I want to make that fight. It's just like Quigg Frampton. I'm sitting down in McGuigan's next week to get that fight made. I'm going to try and make that fight. I believe we'll make that fight. Cleverly against Bellew, another example. And we've all seen how big Froch Groves is. And the winner of Froch Groves will fight, hopefully, fingers crossed, James de Gale. We need Brits to win world titles and then defend against Brits. It's not rocket science, So, and when they're my fighters, like Cleverly and Bellew, it's not a case of, that's going to be awkward. It's this. This is the biggest fight for the pair of you. Tony, I love you to bits, mate. Nathan, I love you to bits, mate. Good luck. May the best man win. If you lose, I've got plenty of opportunities for you. If you win, well, fuck me, you've had it off, son. Let's go and win a world title. But it's risk and reward, and this is the fight game. Nothing's for certain, but let's just all have the big fights that get everyone excited, and that give you a little chirp in your pants. I mean, that's what you want. You want excitement in life. You want to sit down having no idea who's going to win a fight.
How far are you and Barry McGuigan, Frampton's representatives, are far from agreeing a fight between
We're some way yet, but one thing I can tell you is this. Barry McGuigan wants to fight. Carl Frampton wants to fight. Eddie Hearn wants to fight. Joe Gallagher wants to fight. Scott Quigg wants to fight. So surely we've got to find a way. If everyone's sensible, if everyone's straightforward, if everyone realises that for both fighters, this is the biggest fight for both of them, bar none.
Do you think the financial reward needs to match the risk for these fighters?
Of course, always. It has to. And that's why people say to me, you never talk about Scott Quigg fighting Rigondeaux. Why would I? Rigondeaux's a fucking unbelievable fighter that doesn't have the commercial value to give Scott Quigg the kind of payday that he needs for that fight. And then people come on and go, but isn't it about fighting the best? Yeah, of course it is, but for the right fucking money. I'm not going to say to you, Helder, right, fucking unbelievable. I've got you this job. You're running that, you're running that, you're running that, you're running that. Whoa, what great. The money's fucking terrible. Hang on a minute, I've got to do that. Work me nuts off there, run that.
Sounds like the job I got already.
No, you got a shit job, mate. I mean, you got the second fiddle to Quigg and Cassius, but you've got to get what you deserve. Yeah. That goes for the fighters, and also that goes for the punters. You can't ask a punter to put his hand in their pocket for a show that doesn't warrant him putting his hand in his pocket. And everyone wants value for money, but as a fighter, they've got to get the right money for that fight. And that's why, I was tweeting someone last night talking about, he was saying, what about Purdy against Alexander? That's because it's a case-by-case scenario. You know, sometimes you provide a life-changing opportunity for someone, yes, to win a world title, but also to make an amount of money that will change their life and secure their family's future. And that has to take priority in anything you do. Yes, it's the bright lights and it's the world titles. Let's get real. It's about living. It's about surviving. It's about living the right kind of life that you want and the right life for your family. Most important thing, winning titles and making money.
Any news on Kell Brook? Anything you can talk to me
about?
No,
I'm talking to Richard Schaefer. You know, I'd like to bring him over on July the 12th for the fight, and you know, we're talking about that. My gut feeling is he'll be in America, but they're under big pressure. It's got to happen before July the 19th. He's got to bolt that fight on somewhere, and it's an expensive fight to bolt on. So I'm happy to do it in the UK, July the 12th.
You would build a whole show around that.
Of course, massive fight.
Scotland. Last thing I want to touch on.
June the 27th.
Ricky Burns.
Yeah, Ricky Burns. I think we'll get there this week with his opponent. Got some interesting fights lined up for him.
What level of opponent?
I need a highly rated fighter. I've made no secret we want to go down the WBC route. Chase Figueroa.
Is it a case of kind of taking your time with Ricky Burns and seeing?
Not necessarily taking your time. I mean, again, you get people who say, "Oh, put him in with him." Fuck off. He's just fought Gonzalez, Beltran, who broke his jaw, by the way, and Crawford. Yeah. So, doesn't mean by having a small step down, it's the wrong thing to do. And it ain't going to be an easy night because no fights are at that level. He's got a new trainer and he's trying to rebuild. So it's got to be the right fight. And on that bill as well, you know, you've got Simmons against Camacho, which is going to be
that's the fight
gold. And now you've got Limond against Woodhouse as well, British Kai. So it's going to be a massive show. Only 5,600 tickets to sell in Braehead. They'll probably go on the first day. So we'll be up next week in Scotland for a press conference for that. It's going to be a great show.
Out of all the towns you've been to, what's the best town you've been for atmosphere so far?
Probably Glasgow. Belfast is very, very close. It's great over there. Manchester was great the other week. Scotland is special. Glasgow is very special. You know, they really get behind them there. But you know, the Frampton atmosphere is always great in Belfast. Always great. And I'm interested to see what we can do in Leeds.
Indeed. Well, listen, thanks for giving me a bit of time today. I look forward to the show on Wednesday, May the 21st in Leeds. It's a good bill. It's a good card. I'm interested to see what happens, you know.
Thank you. Glad you approve.
Indeed. Keep putting on the good bills. I'll keep turning up.
Cheers, James. It means a lot.
Any message, the last message to Quigg?
No, listen, like I said, he's out in Vegas giving it the big one for Mayweather. He manages to always swan around with these beautiful women. None have any interest in him whatsoever. But there's going to come a time when he's going to try and strike. And that is going to be the most embarrassing thing ever. Because at the moment he's thinking, I wonder if she likes me, or she just thinks I'm a funny guy. But it's definitely the latter. But you know, when he tries to strike, it's that moment when he's with Michelle Phelps and they're just, you know, maybe back in the room chilling, watching some internet reporting, and then he just pulls out the old leg stroke, and it's like he'd be sitting there going, right, I'm going to touch her leg. Touches her leg. What's the reaction? Oh my God, Quigg, get the fuck off me. That's what the reaction will be. And they'll have to be on the next plane. But you can't just be a bird's friend, like every bird. I'm not saying you can be a girl's friend, but you can't be like every girl you meet or fancy. You can't just try and be a friend, because sooner or later you've got to make the play. And Quigg and Cassius is going to have to make the play, and it's going to be like car crash TV. Can't we get over and film him making the play? You know,
I'll be up for doing that. Listen, I'll tell you what. You cover my expenses and I'll go.
Well, you know, I mean, I hope you get all your expenses covered, James.
Now and again, I get to do it.
Good.
Listen, it's my birthday Saturday, so if you want to take me out, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, is that time? Right, okay. See you later.
This is James Holder, Eddie Hearn for iFL TV.